It's Maisie here with Dr. Jen Elison, the coordinator of the local Missoula Days for Girls team. Thanks for being with us today, Jen.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm so honored to be able to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, we're glad to have you. So today we're going to talk to you a little bit about a service project that the Confident Stitch and Days for Girls is coordinating to do with you guys. But before we get started on that, I want to have Jen talk to you a little bit about what Days for Girls is, what they do, and how we can help.
Oh, I'm always so happy to talk about Days for Girls International because I'm just such a huge supporter and believer in their mission. So Days for Girls International is a global nonprofit that was started in 2008 by a woman named Celeste Mergens. And she so poignantly tells the story of her involvement where she was traveling in Africa in 2008 and was speaking with school-age girls who told her that they at times had to offer sexual favors in order to get menstrual pads. She was outraged, as we all should be, by that. And she is an incredibly gregarious and charismatic woman with tremendous networking skills. And she founded the Days for Girls International program. So what I love about this program is that they have as their mission to end what's called period poverty, to end stigma around menstruation, to end gender discrimination and inequality, and to really promote success for all people, but focusing in on individuals who menstruate. So Days for Girls likes to link arms with a lot of other global organizations to do things such as trying to make sure that each village has clean water, or there's a safe place to use the toilet. They provide a lot of education, not only about menstrual hygiene and health and reproductive health, but that education is not only for women and girls and individuals who menstruate, but for men and for boys also. Many of the towns and countries that are serviced by this program, they want to make sure that the local leaders are the ones that are making decisions. And in many of those places, men make decisions for women. So if they can educate men about the importance of menstrual health and reducing stigma, then they're going to help the whole village. So it's just a really fabulous program. And what we're going to be talking about today is the kits, because what I found so amazing is that the number one reason why girls across the globe drop out of school is they don't have adequate menstrual hygiene products. There are some girls that sit on pieces of cardboard for 5 days out of every month, or they use banana leaves or old rags or newspapers, things that can lead to infection. So it's not sanitary, and they're missing school. And women or adults who menstruate are missing out opportunities work-wise. So Days for Girls is making a big difference there. And as of last month, 2.5 million of our kits have been sent to, I think it's something like 113 different countries, which is just really, really wonderful. So if you choose to volunteer in any way, shape, or form for Days for Girls, you're joining, I think it's 70,000 volunteers in 113 countries to make a difference. And I know it gives me goosebumps.
Yeah,
just to think about that, what we can do when we come together.
Absolutely. And I mean, what a worthy cause. I don't think any of us, we've never had to worry about having to sit at home 5 days a week and not getting to do what we want to do. And so it's just really important to hear that, to learn that it's a struggle, and then to figure out how we can use our privilege to help other people. So
absolutely. Yeah.
That's so awesome. So I'm going to take a minute now to talk about the service project that we're doing specifically together. So Jen was talking about these kits they make. So they're basically all hand sewn, right? There's a few elements that aren't hand sewn.
Yeah, there's 12 hand sewn items that go into each kit.
Perfect. So we are going to make we've created little kits that will help you make two of the components. First is this flannel liner that goes in a shield, which is kind of directly what soaks up the blood, I guess, is the best way to put it. And then there's these little transport bags that have this PUL polyurethane water resistant lining that you can put the used liners in, and so that the people who are menstruating can then store them safely so it's not getting messy, and then they can take them to where they need them to wash them, and it can be discreet. And the reason we have these two separate kits is this project, the liner requires a serger, but the transport bag just requires a sewing machine. So that way you can kind of pick and choose based on what tools you have available to you. So why don't you take us through the big kit and show us all the parts there so we can kind of get a better understanding of
Yeah,
it.
sure. So each kit starts with a drawstring bag, and you can see it has the Days for Girls label on here. And on the outside, there's a label which indicates what size underwear is inside of this kit. So we reach inside. Lots of times girls and women use these drawstring bags as book bags or bags for, you know, whatever else they might need to carry. So inside we have a transport bag which has been packed with all of the goodies. And this happens to be a surged bag, but I know Maisie will be sending out project kits for the sewn bag. So inside we've got 2 pairs of underwear, and I was watching a video from Days for Girls International a couple of days ago where they were distributing bags, and the joy on these little girls' faces to find that they were going to get underwear.
Yeah.
I mean, they just started chanting underwear. I mean, it was darling and heartbreaking at the same time.
Yeah.
So 2 pairs of underwear, an instruction sheet on how to track your period.
I could use one of those.
Yeah. A washcloth. Let me reach down in here. Oops. So a washcloth and 8 liners that look like, Maisie showed one just a minute ago, that look like this. 8 of those. And 2 shields she was talking about. So these are like a T-shaped 2 pieces of fabric lined with that same PUL, the waterproof lining, with a snap in the back, right? So it will snap around a pair of underwear. A bar of hotel-sized soap. And then the transport bag, which is waterproof because sometimes this is where girls wash their pads.
Oh, okay.
Also, because you know, sometimes they're washing in dirty stream water, and this is just another receptacle for washing. They've designed these shields to be folded into what they call a pod, so that if a girl needs to, or a woman needs to bring an extra supply with them to school or to work, it's something that's small, that you know, they can just put it in this bag and take it with them instead of taking their whole kit with them. Yeah, nice. But this is the same sort of a T-shaped shield, snaps in the back, that's got the liner in it. So it's been through something like 30 iterations. What goes into this kit? I was telling Maisie that I just finished watching videos on what the correct way is to roll up the underwear. You know, everything is going to be shipped to someplace across the globe. So they try to have us be as compact as possible when we're packing these kits.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. So with that in mind, I'm gonna take a second to show you our little kits that you can purchase is the wrong word. It would be like reserve a kit on our website. We've made 2 items. One for the it's actually called a carry pouch. I keep calling it a transport
bag is what I call it.
But on all their videos and directions, everything they say carry pouch. So I'm gonna try to keep saying that so that you know what I'm talking about.
I'll try to also.
So for the carry pouch kit, we've included enough fabric to make 3 pouches. And so that means 3 squares of PUL fabric, and then 3 rectangles actually, 3 rectangles of quilter's cotton. And the dimensions are 9 by 15 and then 9 by 16 and a half, I believe. Whatever it is, it's right. We've got them out there and they're on the instructions and on the website. and also in the instructions. So aside from that, what we've also included is this gold standard sheet, which will help you know if your pouch is in the required parameters. And Jen will talk a little bit more about this in a second. And so then for the liner kit, it's enough fabric to make 4 liners, and we've included long strips that are around 40 inches of 6-inch wide fabric. It's flannel, cotton flannel, and then 9 by 40 inches of another contrasting flannel. We'll also talk a little more about fabric choice in a little bit because that's sort of a specific topic too. But the other parts of this kit are we also have the template for the liner. So this is kind of the pattern essentially. And then the gold standard template as well. So aside from that, what you'll also receive once you reserve your kit, and this is only for locals just because it would be kind of ineffective to send you a kit from far away, have you make it and send it back to us, only because Days for Girls is international and there's groups all over the place and most certainly one near you. And so we'll make sure to include this below, but if you go to Days for Girls International, you can look up groups in your area. So if you're really interested in this, you want to do it, there is certainly a way that you can contribute. But for these specific kits, we're just catering to our Missoula audience here. And once you reserve a kit, you just select local pickup, and then you can come by the store anytime to pick them up. And we will also then send you an email with a link to a Google Drive that contains the written instructions for these projects, as well as video tutorials that Days for Girls has put out, and then a fabric guide and these templates, just in case you have a backup there. These are all copyrighted by Days for Girls, so it's important that you don't distribute them to anybody else, because we want to, unless you have somebody who's really interested in volunteering, and they can get in touch with us and we can set them up that way. But we don't want to spread around a pattern that is not ours. It's the Days for Girls organization. But yeah, you'll get a link to a Google Drive, and then you can watch the videos. And they're super simple projects. Like I said, the carry pouch is for people with just sewing machines, and then the liner for people who have sergers. So that's what we're looking at when you get your kit that you've reserved. And so let's move on to the gold standard sheet that I've talked about. Can you explain that?
Sure, the gold standard. And I probably should preface this by saying I am not the world's best seamstress. So okay. I was explaining to Maisie a little while ago, I said that I have many flannel washcloths now, but mistakes that I've made trying to tame my serger, and really being very, very cognizant of the fact that there's a gold standard for a reason. So as I said before, these had been through 30 different changes, every component in the kit, and they have all been changed based on user feedback. Mm-hmm. For example, nobody wanted a pad that looked like a pad, like it shouldn't be white. Do not do a white pad, please. And the fabric needed to be durable, needed to be able to wash in very little water, because some girls don't have access to running water. Mm-hmm. Needed to be something that could dry quickly. Yeah. The reason why we always use 100% polyester thread is that polyester thread is less susceptible to breakdown in sunshine. So, everything has been thought through really, really carefully. And I guess my favorite gold standard specific is that the fabric has to be able to pass, I think they call it the line test. So it needs to be stain resistant enough that you wouldn't be embarrassed to hang it on your clothesline to dry. So I can do that.
Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb.
But really what we're looking for is, this guidelines for very consistent quality, for comfort, for durability. And when I'm thinking about the gold standard, I think, okay, this is my way that I can let the user know that I care about them, that they deserve the absolute best. They say every stitch counts. And it's a way for me to honor whoever's going to be using the components of this kit. But you'll notice on your gold standard,
Here, hold that up for everybody.
yeah, on your gold standard kit, diagram, for example, you can see, here's the gold. So what I would do is I would put a liner like right up against this. And boy, let's make sure that we're in that parameter. We want to be within the green or the gold. The gold is best. The green is what they call fit for purpose. So it's something that we can use, but in each kit that has these 12 sewn components, you can only put 2 fit for standard components in. So we're really aiming for that gold standard. We want these kits to last 3 years in pretty rugged conditions for some.
Yeah.
So,
well, and not to mention, you talk about like cramming all those components into a bag and then shipping them somewhere. If we get too big and out of control, then we're also shooting ourselves in the foot that way in terms of shipping. Like we have to fit everything
in terms of shipping, and maybe they just won't, they're just not usable.
Yeah.
And that's that's not what we want. But as one of the team leads for the Missoula team, I do check every single component against the gold standard templates before I will ship them off. And that's why I know that I have a lot of flannel washcloths in my house, just not being able to do what I need to do. So yeah, and I think on your sheets also, so there's a visual that you can use, and there's also written descriptions of what Days for Girls International is looking for. Like on the serge liner, they don't want any loose threads anywhere along.
Yeah.
Because that can snag on a rock, or that can
just fall apart.
Before the 3 years. So that's not what we want.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you for taking us through that, because I mean, everybody wants to help, but we want to make sure we're helping correctly. Otherwise, what was the point? So
well, sure. So it's that quality and consistency is what the organization is looking for.
Absolutely. Awesome. Okay. So, let's see. What if people wanted to make more than what's included in their kit? So, they get the liner kit and they make their 4, and then they think, oh, this was easy, I want to make more. I have a stash of flannel. How can they know that they have the right flannel for the job?
Great. I'm glad you asked. So I think that you are also going to be including a link, correct, to the fabric guideline, which has got a front and a back on it. And we'll just talk about the flannel for a minute, because, oh my gosh, we learned the hard way. So the flannel needs to be 100% cotton, double brushed, so fuzzy on both sides. I think that's how you told me to distinguish. And not shirt flannel, because shirt flannel simply won't absorb, and that defeats the whole purpose, and that's just that's a mess. So we found that out the hard way. We had a wonderful person had donated a lot of flannel, and boy, we were cutting and getting ready, and I think we'd even sewn some of them, and then it was like, no, this is, this isn't going to work. So we're learning as we go, and that's one of the things that we've learned. So for the flannel, you want to have colors that are stain hiding, the double brushed flannel, and particularly for that what they call the hot spot. So the piece that goes right down the middle. So this will fold in a 3 ways. And the parts up here that are a little bit flimsier, that don't have the hot spot underneath them, those get tucked into the pocket. But right through here, they call the hot spot, and that's got this double piece. So this is the part that's going to be absorbing most of the period blood. So you want that to be, dark colored, stain hiding. For the transport bags, you can use fabric. You want 100% cotton, and as I say, for the shields, we need to absolutely have quilters cotton. They want sturdy fabric for the shields. But for the transport, what are they called?
Carry pouches.
Carry pouches. We can use lighter weight 100% cotton. So that's kind of fun, because lots of times when people are donating fabric, we are thrilled to get every inch of every scrap of fabric we can get. And often we get more flimsy, I guess.
Yeah, it's like
drapes.
a voile or a lawn, maybe something you could use for clothing that has a little
something
more
that
drape.
drapes, right.
Mhm.
But we can use those for the carry pouches. And again, you want to have fabric that is stain hiding, but can be a little bit lighter, right? That's not going to be used up against somebody's body. Days for Girls really wants women, girls, and individuals who menstruate to feel pretty and to feel good about themselves. So we're always looking for pretty, uplifting kind of fabric that meets certain criteria. For example, we would never use anything that has camo. We would never use anything that has international flags on it. We don't use anything that's really glammy or that might be offensive to women in some country. We're not going to use animals, which is interesting. You can use paw prints, but not animals. The only insects you can use are fabric with butterflies, and I think ladybugs have just been added to the list of the approved insects.
The cute bugs.
Yeah, but nothing with like eyes.
Yeah.
Nothing with a human eye. Nothing that's yellow, because in some countries that saffron color is used by monks, so that would be sacrilegious. So this sheet, front and back, absolutely walks you through and gives examples of fabrics that can be used, that can't be used, and we abide by that really carefully. We don't want to be sending stuff off that can't be used.
That can't be used,
can't
exactly.
be used. Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect.
Oh, and I wanted to say one thing here about the PUL.
Yes.
So this is a waterproof fabric. So please don't use any pins on it, because then you're poking a hole in the PUL and it's no longer waterproof.
Yeah.
So especially for these bags, if girls are going to be pouring water into them to be, washing their used pads, we would just want to make sure that that's going to hold water.
Yeah. So like Wonder Clips, or in the video, I think that they use paper clips too, which is something I hadn't seen.
Yeah.
It also means, obviously when you stitch it, the needle will poke a hole, but try to avoid ripping stitches. And if you do have to stitch again, if you can just stitch, make your seam allowance a little bit bigger and stitch on the outside of the stitches you've already done.
Right.
Does that make sense? So,
Yeah.
so that the holes are being contained to inside the seam allowance. So it's a really easy pattern. Anybody who's sewn who looks at it will have no problem with it. So I have faith in all of you, but just things to think about. For
Things
sure.
that I've learned. I think I've used clothespins. I've used a lot of different things, which are pretty bulky around the sewing machine. But yeah.
I know, we should get you some Wonder Clips. We have good little sewing clips that are just for this. So we'll talk about it.
Yeah. I think one of our volunteers just gave me a little baggie of them.
Oh, did
so I've
you?
been using them, and they are really nice.
Yeah, they're nifty. Okay, perfect. So the next thing, I just want to talk about parameters a little bit. As I mentioned, these kits are for locals, and the due date to return your finished carry pouches or liners is April 2nd. So it's just a few weeks from now, but we kind of want to keep everything going and just make sure that we're sending things out in a timely manner, because as Jen was saying, people are always in need of them. So those are two things to remember there. The links to the items themselves are below. You can find them on our website as well. And let's see. Oh yeah. So this is a little short notice, but Jen and her team are actually working to put together some hybrid kits for Ukrainians in need. And so I just want you to talk a little bit about that. And I think by Friday is your deadline, right? So it's a quick turnaround, but
it's a very quick turnaround. Yes. So Days for Girls International is partnering to send what they call a hybrid kit to the women and girls in the Ukraine. And it's the first time since I've been involved with Days for Girls that I've ever even heard of them using a hybrid kit, because they're very committed to sustainability, no plastics, all that kind of stuff. But the hybrid kits will include some of the sewn components that we make, as well as like maxi pads. So if anybody has going to Costco or whatever, between now and Friday morning, we're going to ship this off about 11 o'clock on Friday morning. So it needs to get there. It needs to get to the holding place in Pennsylvania within a week. And actually, I'm going to be leaving to go out of town on Saturday morning. So we wanted to get this mailed out as soon as possible. So they are asking for pads that have that either have wings or don't have wings. It doesn't make any difference. But they don't want anything that's labeled for light days. They want, the Kotex pads is what they're looking for. So yeah, if people have any of those, or you want to swing by Costco, drop them off here, I can come in on Friday morning. And pick them up.
And also like washcloths, underwear, and hotel soap. Maybe those are.
Yeah, absolutely. So the washcloths, they're looking for 100% cotton, no microfiber washcloths. And cut off the tags, please, because that'll save me one step. Girls and ladies underwear, not bikini style, but regular kind of up to the waist underwear.
Sturdy.
Yeah, not white. And that would be great. And yeah, the hotel size soap is something they're asking for right now also. I know the last project that we worked on, I think, was for the country of Jordan, and they asked us not to include soap. But for this particular Ukrainian project, they are asking for soap. So we do have some, but not as much as we would usually have. Pre-COVID, people were donating soap a lot, but COVID sort of stymied travel for a while for people.
I'm sure. So that's a quick turnaround. It's kind of today and tomorrow, and
Yes.
maybe really early on Friday if you can get here. And if you can't swing it, not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. It is okay.
Just if you maybe have something lying around, a bunch of hotel soap that you don't use, we have a place for it to go. So anyway,
women around the world and girls around the world will appreciate your generosity.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else that you can think of that you want to bring up?
We do meet once a month, which is timely, right? Like every 28 days. We meet here at Confident Stitch. We're so grateful to have partnered or link arms, which is the expression Days for Girls uses, with Confident Stitch. We meet from 4 to 6 o'clock on the first Monday of the month to do some sewing together and just to gather together as women helping women. So we're certainly happy to have you join us. If you'd like to get in contact with me, the best way to do that is going to be through our website, which is Missoula MT, so Missoula, Montana, but it's MT for Montana, at daysforgirls.org. So that's our email address, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. If you're interested in donating funds, which we can always use, and the international group can always use, I'm happy to walk you through what needs to happen there.